welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie. I have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be going over is Steven Kwan's incredible, amazing breakout season with the Cleveland Guardians and the impact it's been having on their team. After that, we'll be going over Kyle Bradish having Tommy John surgery for Baltimore Orioles, Royce Lewis' incredible season for the Minnesota Twins, some pitcher power rankings, and the NL wildcard situation. But before we do all that, I'd like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers to ensure that your question does get read in the air. Please use the link GSMCpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot. So thank you so much for that. And let's get into our show for today. All right, so the first topic we'll be going over is, of course, Steven Kwan and his season for the Cleveland Guardians. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, Steven Kwan coming into this year was known as a really good player, but just had a little bit of a down season last year. Wasn't that great. Only 100 weighted runs created plus. Before that in 2022, when the Guardians surprised a lot of people and were pretty good, he had a really good rookie season, was in the running for Rookie of the Year the entire year, and was just a really fantastic, exciting player. And going into this year, there was a lot of mixed signals with him. You don't really know what kind of player he would be. And he's been absolutely fantastic this year with Cleveland. Has done a really, really great job. And his stats are incredible and is one of the biggest reasons, maybe even the biggest, that the Guardians are exceeding so much expectations right now in our first place in the AL Central. Currently, Kwan has a weighted runs created plus of 193, which is absolutely insane to think about. And I'm not a batting average guy. I never have been. I don't think it's a great hit. I don't think it's a great stat. But his batting average currently is 397, which is insane. That's just insanity. I mean, every 4 out of 10 times he's getting a base hit, which is just absolutely insane. So that's also incredible. And yeah, his hitting stats are just really jump off the board insane. His barrel percentage is up. It's still not high considering it's not really the type of player he is, but again, it's not really something to worry about. His hard hit percentage is up 4%, so even with a player like him, he doesn't really hit the ball as hard. His hitting stats in that area are still up and are still doing well, so props to him. And I mean, hey, he's been doing absolutely fantastic. He's hitting less ground balls by a significant margin, which is good. 45% last year. Now it goes down to 37. Line drive percentage as well is up from 25 to 32 this year. So that's also great. So yeah, just overall, he's hitting the ball much better. His pull percentage is up as well. Hard hit percentage is up as well. So yeah, is becoming a much better hitter than he was before, and really is one of the biggest reasons why the Guardians have done that as well as they have this year. I mean, as I talked about going into the year, I did not have the Guardians very high up on my list, high up on the division. I thought they were just a very mediocre team that didn't really have a future, not necessarily a future, but kind of an identity, I'd say. I just thought they were, again, extremely mediocre, very middle-brow, and they've absolutely smashed every expectation out of the water this season. Have done so well. And yeah, I mean, looking at the AL Central right now, the Guardians are ahead of the Twins and the Royals by 5.5 in 6 games. They have a winning percentage of .634, which is third in the AL, only to the mighty Yankees and Orioles. So they've just had an absolutely fantastic season this year. Have just been so incredible. And a lot of it is because of Kwan. Kwan is really setting the lineup up very nicely, being the leadoff hitter for most of these games for Cleveland, playing great defense as well, and really is helping this team exceed all expectations I never really thought they would have. So, yeah, I mean, looking at it as well in the lineup, you, of course, also have other players who are one of the big reasons why this team has done as well as they have this year. You, of course, have Josh Naylor, who's had a real good breakout season this year with the bat, has been absolutely amazing. Jose Ramirez, of course, who is always absolutely incredible. I mean, one of the most underrated players in baseball, year in and year out, plays like an absolutely incredible player. Talked about yesterday how he was fifth on the American League MVP ladder right now. So a lot of great players that are breaking out this year, and Cleveland just put it all together and done absolutely fantastic. And again, I think Kwan is one of those big reasons. Having a guy like him at the top of the order to set everything up, be a leader, and when he goes up to the plate, you're very confident he's going to get on base. I mean, he's almost getting on base half the time at this point, and it's just pretty incredible what he's been able to do this year, especially in that leadoff spot, and also in a division where there's a lot of good pitchers. I mean, you're playing the Royals regularly, who have one of the best pitching staffs I've seen in years. Twins, who definitely aren't too shabby. Tigers, who have had breakout players like Reese Olson, Jack Flaherty, also have Tarek Skubal. So they're also playing a lot of good pitchers as well, and being able to have a guy at the top of your lineup like Kwan who's able to set everything up, do a really great job, and overall just be a fantastic table setter is pretty fantastic. So yeah, has been an absolutely amazing player, and overall has been great. I'm going to be right back. Sorry, I have to deal with something quickly. Sorry, we're back here. Had to deal with a little bit of a thing off screen. I apologize about that. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But yeah, continuing with this about Kwan and just the Guardians, I mean, they've really have done so fantastic. And in a division, again, that I talked about the pitching, but overall is really just great as well. I mean, you have these teams like the Royals, like the Twins, who I had above you, and are just great, great teams with a lot of talent. And the Guardians have been able to go above them and have just done a really, really amazing, fantastic job. And yeah, have just been an amazing team. So props to them. Props to what they've been able to put together this year. And yeah, just have done such a great, great job as a team this year. And you know, again, they exceeded my expectations, have proven me wrong, because again, I thought they were going to be mediocre, and have done great with the bats. I mean, you have Kwan now, you have Naylor, you have Ramirez. That's a great hitting core to start off with. And one of the big things is they've been able to do all this without a great pitching core. I mean, when we think of the Guardians these past few years, we think of an elite pitching core, great players on this team, but they haven't been able to do that recently. Shane Bieber, who Shane Bieber just got hurt for the entire season at the start of the year, actually. So when he went down, the Guardians were already off to a really great start. I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of it. You had a nice little run there, Cleveland, but it's time to go. And oh well, see you later. Nice start to the season you had, but without Bieber, you're going to do nothing, and your offense is going to fall back to reality. And they have not done that. To be honest, they have still managed to be an outstanding team. Have been really, really great, even without their pitching core being fantastic, even without Bieber playing for them. So, yeah, have just been really, really great. Have been a superb team this year, and again, are in a very tough division. And being able to do all this, being in a division against teams like the Royals, like the Twins, like the Tigers, even, who have a lot of talent, it's been very, very impressive that they've been able to rise above every single person and done a really, really great job. So, yeah, props to them. And, yeah, I think two of the biggest reasons why they've been able to do this is really two things. One, their bullpen. Their bullpen is really, really fantastic. Of course, you have Emmanuel Clase in the back end, who obviously helps you a lot and is one of the best closers in baseball. By the way, they almost traded him in the offseason, so very lucky that they did not and were able to keep on to him, because I don't think they would be as good as they are right now if they didn't have him. But it's not just Clase. This bullpen overall is really fantastic, and they have a lot of arms going up to Clase that are able to be the reason why this bullpen is so good. Hunter Gaddis, he's had a very solid season. Scott Barlow been solid. Scott Hench has been solid. Nick Sandlin before he got hurt. Cade Smith. So they've been having some really good bullpen arms as well. So you're able to back this bullpen up with Clase in there, and have done just a great, great job with the bullpen right now. And have been really, really great. So props to them. And have just done a really amazing, fantastic job with their team this year. Also, the manager in hiring, Stephen Vogt. Vogt has not had an easy job coming in and filling in for one of the greatest managers in baseball history, in Terry Francona, a man who is idolized in Cleveland, Ohio, and has stepped into that role, done a really, really great job, has been able to rally this young team to play better than we thought they could, and has made the right decisions. The team seems to be rallying behind him as a man, and has just been a perfect hiring for this Cleveland team. A lot of people were very skeptical about his hiring at first because he just came from the major leagues, had no real coaching experience. But, they always say that catchers are going to be managers in the future, and Vogt has proven that right and has done a really, really great job, has shown his attentiveness for baseball, has shown his passion, shown his talent for managing games, and has been a perfect hire for this Cleveland Guardians team, where they are with their franchise right now. So props to him, and another great decision by this Guardians franchise. So that is it for our first segment here, talking about Steven Kwan and his breakout season for the Guardians and just how well the Guardians have done in general. Moving into our second segment here, which is going to be talking about Kyle Bradish and getting Tommy John surgery and the impact it is going to have on the Baltimore Orioles team. So yeah, we talk about that. I do apologize for me taking a break in the middle. I deal with something off screen again. Doesn't happen much, I apologize, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. So we'll see you after this, and thanks and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment. But before we do that, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read on the air, please use the link, GSMCpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get back into the show for today. All right, so moving into our second segment here, which is going to be talking about the Baltimore Orioles and the news that came down yesterday, which was about one of their better starting pitchers, Kyle Bradish, and his Tommy John surgery. So I did actually talk about this on, I believe it was either Monday or Tuesday, and I talked about how Kyle Bradish had an injury, his second time going on the injured list for the Orioles this year, and that it was going to be a big impact to them. And during that, I theorized that he could potentially have Tommy John surgery or a more significant type of injury than what is being let on, because now that was his second elbow injury of the year, second time being placed on the IL that year, and a lot of times that means it's not good. And during the segment I said maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I'm not, but it has now been officially said that I was not overreacting, and it was announced yesterday by the Orioles that Bradish does indeed need Tommy John surgery, and a big blow to this Orioles rotation and this Orioles team. Bradish is a fantastic pitcher, one of the best pitchers in baseball last year, one of the biggest reasons why they were so good last year, and did end up becoming the first seed in the AL. So, very, very unfortunate news here for Orioles fans. I'm not going to say that it was totally unexpected. Like I said, I think once Bradish went on the injured list again with another elbow injury, it was kind of theorized by Orioles fans that, okay, it is possible that he is going to end up having to get another elbow surgery or another Tommy John, and obviously that was worst case scenario, but it did come true, and he is going to have that, and he's out for the season and probably most of next season for the Baltimore Orioles. So looking at Bradish's stats this year for the Orioles, they were very, very good. I mean, just a great pitcher he is. So looking at it, he had a 2.75 ERA in 8 games started for them. His K per 9 was 12.13. His K to walk ratio was 3.53, which is really good. Left on base percentage was 78. His FIP was 2.48, which was absolutely incredible. Barrel percentage was down from last year. Hard hit percentage was down significantly from last year. His expected ERA was 2.63. So was just having an absolutely amazing season by every stretch of the imagination. Peripheral said he was even going to get better from his amazing ERA already, which was under 3. So yeah, just a big blow to this Orioles team, and it's going to be interesting to see now where they go from here. So looking at this Orioles team right now, there still are some pitchers on this team that you do trust, you do think are good, but at the same time, no one up to a standard of Kyle Bradish, of course, other than Corbin Burnes. So right now, I would say the Orioles rotation is going to look like Corbin Burnes, Grayson Rodriguez, Cole Irvin, Albert Suarez, and then Cade Povich most likely. Now, Corbin Burnes is obviously an ace. I mean, there's no real doubts about that. Everyone knows who Corbin Burnes is. No one's really doubting Corbin's ability here. So that's at least something good. Going out this offseason, getting that ace, that was a big move by the Orioles, and great job by them because Burnes has been absolutely fantastic. I also think now this Bradish injury is going to give the Orioles a lot more incentive to extend Corbin Burnes. Now, with Bradish being out for a lot of next year, if you let Burnes walk, God forbid, in free agency, you're now going to have really a big hole in that ace spot. Grayson Rodriguez is really good, and we'll get to him next, but he's not up to the level of a Bradish or a Corbin Burnes. So if I'm the Orioles, I'm extending Corbin Burnes right now. Has been fantastic with you guys, and I don't see any reason why that would stop. Going to your second position in the rotation, of course, it is Grayson Rodriguez. Rodriguez was a former top prospect in the Orioles system for a long time and has lived up to the expectations this year, has been really, really great, and has been a very needed number 2 punch here for this Orioles rotation with Bradish out. So, has overall been a big contributor to this Orioles team. He's going to be a big contributor for the rest of the season, and he's going to continue being a great figure in this Orioles rotation. After that, though, is again where it gets a little iffy because you would usually have Bradish at 2 and then Grayson Rodriguez at the 3. But after this, you now have Cole Irvin, who is good. I mean, came over from the A's last year and was not great, honestly. Was more of a reliever, hybrid starter guy, but has started 11 games for the Orioles this year, only come out of the bullpen twice, has a 3 ERA, has done, again, really, really great for them. His FIP is also at 3.41, which is really nice. FIP minus at 86, ERA minus 78. His barrel percentage is down. His hard hit percentage is up, though, which is very interesting. And his expected ERA isn't great. So Irvin, while he's having a good season, and right now is your Orioles number 3, I just don't think he can continue to be your number 3 if you want to go a long ways in the playoffs right now. Just does not look like a guy you want to rely on. And then after that, Albert Suarez. Suarez, a 34-year-old, I believe, waiver pickup, who is recently pitching in Japan. Hadn't pitched in the MLB since 2017 with San Francisco, but has been a godsend for the Orioles team. Has pitched in 15 games, started 8, has a 2.05 ERA, so has been absolutely fantastic. His FIP is 3.06, ERA minus of 53. His expected ERA is only 3.76, so overall, I mean, they're not even saying he's going to hit regression that hard. So Suarez has been an important part of the Orioles rotation, especially now with Bradish being out. He's going to get an improved role. And also Cade Povich, a guy who I talked about maybe a week ago whenever he was called up from the Orioles, who is becoming a big piece in this Orioles rotation. And it's definitely a big piece of this team. One of their top prospects in the organization. I believe he's top 10. And it's just a big lefty pitcher that has a lot of great raw stuff, and it's going to be been very important to the Orioles rotation right now without Bradish. But even with these guys I'm talking about, even with these good players, no one is up to the standard of a Kyle Bradish. No one is up to this, a standard of another Corbin Burnes. And I think when you're going deeper into the playoffs, deeper into the year, you're going to need some pitching depth. And when you're facing these really good teams in the AL, like the Royals, like the Twins, like the Guardians, like the Yankees, like the Mariners, you're going to need more pitching. And if I'm the Orioles, I need to get more pitching at the trade deadline, and that's really what I'm focusing on if I'm them right now. One thing I floated whenever I talked about the Orioles last, I've talked about them a lot because they have been in the news a lot recently, so I don't remember when I thought about it, was potentially going for the big blockbuster option of going to the White Sox and trading one of your top prospects for Garrett Crochet and Luis Robert. You need a center fielder, you need a starting pitcher badly, and thankfully for you guys, you have a ton of prospect depth, and I've talked about him a few times in the show, but if I'm looking at one guy who could be traded by the Orioles who could get a ton back, it's Samuel Basallo. Basallo is a 19-year-old catching prospect who also profiles mainly as a catcher as well in the long term, and is just not going to be able to play that because he's blocked by Adley Rutschman, one of the best young catchers in all of baseball. So from the Orioles, I'd have no problem giving Basallo up. And if the White Sox come calling and say, we want Basallo, if you come to the White Sox and you say, we want Robert, we want Crochet, and we'll give you Basallo, from the White Sox, I'm thinking about that trade. Rob, you got a superstar center fielder to add to your amazing young core ready for the Orioles. You get Crochet to add to your rotation for not just this year, but next year as well. And when Bradish does eventually come back, whether maybe it's end of next year, you'd have a rotation of Burns, Rodriguez, Crochet, and Bradish. And that's, coming from where you were, that's a real legit 4-man rotation. That's 4 really great pitchers. And also with the Orioles, you're trading for a guy in Crochet that I've talked about before, is very raw, can still be developed a lot more as a starter. So you're not just trading for him for the now, you're trading him for the future as well. So I think that's a move the Orioles would consider to make. Again, also Jesus Luzardo from the Miami Marlins, who is definitely getting traded this deadline. 2.5 years of control, a younger pitcher, has shown great flash in the MLB. I think would be a great addition to this Orioles pitching staff and would overall be a great pitcher to add here. But yeah, just any pitcher the Orioles can add, I think they need right now. Pitching is their main focus, and yeah, you definitely need some pitchers right now. You can't you can't have this rotation for the rest of the year. You need to add someone, whoever it is, whether it's Luzardo, whether it's Crochet, whether it's Tyler Anderson, who I talked about yesterday, whether it's Sean Manaea, Luis Severino, whoever it is. You're gonna have to add someone. And from the Orioles, I'm considering my options. And this Bradish injury, again, it's not just bad for this year, but for next year as well. Let's say Burns walks. What is your rotation going to be? It's going to be Grayson Rodriguez, Cole Irvin. Is that really what you want? I don't think so. So you have to start considering how what the future is going to look like. And I would start first with extending Corbin Burns. I think he's a significant piece of your team and needs to be extended rather quickly. And yeah, I do that as soon as I can. I would look to trade for a controllable starting pitcher at the deadline, and then I'd look to sign someone in the offseason as well. Maybe a mediocre player, not someone, of course, up to the Burns level, but still someone who's good. And, I think something that could be really fun is maybe potentially signing Justin Verlander. Of course, grew up in the DMV area and could come home. Isn't the best pitcher anymore, but is definitely a solid 3-4 option and wouldn't command that much, most likely. Would try to be able to get another ring and be a very fun storyline. So I'd look at that. But yeah, just spitballing here, really. Just the main focus is the Orioles need a starting pitcher, and they need someone that can solidify this rotation for not just this year, but for in the future with this Bradish injury that is very significant. And yeah, from the Orioles, I need someone to do that right now. And yeah, definitely need this to happen sooner rather than later. So yeah. That is our second segment here, talking about Kyle Bradish and the Baltimore Orioles and the Tommy John surgery that he did end up having. Moving into our third segment, which is going to be talking about Royce Lewis and his incredible season so far for the Minnesota Twins. So yeah, we'll talk about him, the impact he's having on the Twins team, and so we'll see you after the break. So thanks and bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Moving into our third segment here, which is going to be talking about Royce Lewis and his season for the Minnesota Twins. Yeah, we'll be going over that, and let's get into it. So, Royce Lewis came up last year and really just dominated immediately, had a fantastic short sample size of a season, And then in the playoffs was even better. They were playing the Blue Jays in the Wild Card Series, of course, and Lewis absolutely broke out, hitting so many clutch hits in that series on their way to sweep the Blue Jays. And yeah, has just been a player of a lot of promise for a long, long time for the Twins. Was drafted first overall in 2017. Dealt with so many injuries in the minor leagues, and I think Twins fans at some point were wondering, would this guy ever become a difference maker in the major leagues? Would he ever come up? Would he ever become, again, a significant player in this league? And the answer is yes. He's done an absolutely fantastic job, not just last year, but has put it together this year, and has done great. I mean, again, he has started off with an injury this year in his first game versus the Royals when he went 2 for 2, I think, to start off with. He did end up having a oblique strain and was out for a significant part of the season, and did just come back a few weeks ago. But still, has put it together now, has played a good amount of games this year and has been great. I mean, has played in 14 games this year. He has 57 plate appearances and has an OPS of 1.339, an OPS plus of 272, and it's just been absolutely amazing. And has really been a big part of this Twins team. So these stats are courtesy from Jeff Passan. Lewis in 90 Major League games, postseason included, 315, 388, 627, 30 home runs, and 365 plate appearances. And Royce Lewis, again, just 25 years old. A first overall player a few years ago, has all the talent in the world, and it's just for him about putting it together, getting healthy, and once he does that, I mean, there's really no stopping what Royce Lewis can do and what his potential can end up being. So, yeah, if I'm a Twins fan, I'm very excited about where he can go in the future and what's going to end up happening with him and how he ends up playing. Yeah, I think Royce Lewis has the potential to be a superstar, and I'm very, very excited to end up seeing what does happen with him and what exciting things are in his future. So, with this Twins team, I think Royce Lewis really helps them a lot. He was really the big reason why they ended up moving on from longtime middle infielder Jorge Polanco and trading him to the Seattle Mariners. So, yeah, Lewis is obviously in the future plans of the Minnesota Twins and can end up being a really special player if he can avoid injury and keep it all together like he has tried these past few years. Again, injuries are the biggest thing. Most of his injuries have been pretty freak injuries, but at the same time, still they have happened, so you need to be able to control them. And the Twins already have too many injury-prone stars like Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, and I'm sure they'd like Royce Lewis to stay healthy. Just imagine one healthy season of Byron Buxton. I mean, he would have been an MVP in that year. I'm sure they're hoping that's not the case with Royce Lewis. So, I mean, looking at this Twins infield, it's pretty insane. I mean, you have Royce Lewis at third for the significant future, Carlos Correa at short, Eduardo Julian at second, and then also you have Carlos Santana, Jose Miranda at first base. So a lot of depth within this middle infield, this infield in general, and Lewis is really a big part of that. Again, a guy who has played a significant part in this Twins team and should play a significant part in the Twins' future. And overall, he's going to end up being a fantastic player for this team, and it really is going to end up being a guy who just really provides a lot of value for the Twins down the future. So I think it's just the matter of fact of, can Royce Lewis put it together? Can he end up being the first overall pick that the Twins wanted? Can he end up putting all these short flashes together into a full season and put the Twins to where they want to go? Because the Twins haven't really been a disappointment this year. I mean, they started off pretty bad, but have been much better as the season has gone on. And I think, again, Lewis has been part of that, coming back. When he wasn't there, they had guys like Carl Farmer playing significant time in the infield. So now that he has come back, I feel much more confident in this Twins team. And right now, they're second place in AL Central, have taken above the Kansas City Royals, who are off to a great start. Are 6 games behind, yes, but you look at the wild card right now for the AL, Twins are very clearly in that second position behind the Baltimore Orioles, and again, have a lot going for them. Had a very interesting offseason as people were kind of perplexed by what they were doing. I mean, they just lost players. They didn't really add anyone. They let Sonny Gray walk. They let Kenta Maeda walk. They traded Jorge Polanco for a reliever and a prospect. So a lot of fans were very, again, perplexed at what the Twins were doing. It didn't make a lot of sense, but the thing about the Twins was they had so many young players coming up through the system, being able to replicate the value of the guys that they were losing, and that's what they have done. Royce Lewis has been great at third base, where Polanco's had a pretty rough start of it in Seattle, so it's worked out there. You've had guys like Simeon Richardson, Bailey Ober, Louis Varland coming in clutch for your rotation. Chris Paddock came back from Tommy John as well. Been clutch in your rotation and done a really great job there. So, yeah, overall, this Twins team has a lot going for them. Has a really nice, underrated young core that I don't think a lot of people bring up much. So, I think that overall, if you're a Twins fan, you're excited about this year. You're excited about what Royce Lewis can do. And, yeah, I think that overall there's a lot of talent here on this Twins team. It'll be very, very interesting to see where this team does go in the future. Now, the AL Central is going to be a division to really watch as the season does go on. There's so many good, talented teams within this division, and it is going to be something that is very interesting to watch to see who does end up winning this division. I mean, you, of course, have the Twins here. You have Kansas City, who has one of the best rotations I've seen in a long, long time for a team. You also have Cleveland, who I talked about in the first segment, who has been absolutely fantastic. So it's really going to be a bloodbath to get to the first place in the AL Central, and the Twins have really good players on their team. Have a lot of talent here, and are very, very exciting to end up seeing what could happen with them. I think a lot of Twins fans know that there's a lot of great talent here, and you should be excited. They haven't had this much hope in a long time. Winning a playoff series last year for the first time in a million years was a big, big booster to this team, and yeah. I think Royce Lewis and this young core of Jose Miranda, Eduardo Julian, guys like that are going to provide a lot for the Twins in the future. And again, Lewis is mainly what I'm trying to focus on here, but it just goes vastly to the Twins. And Lewis, former first overall pick, I still think has a lot of talent. Still has the chance to put it all together. And if I'm a Twins fan again, I'd be very, very excited about what is going to end up happening with him. And yeah, just very excited to see. I think when you're looking at the future of this Twins team, not just this year, but the future as well, you get very excited about what you're going to see, and I think a guy like Royce Lewis is going to be at the forefront of that. Once he puts it all together, once he stays healthy for 150 games, something like that, I think Royce Lewis could end up being a very special player and really guide the Twins to where they've wanted to be for the past few years. So, yeah, if I'm a Twins fan again, I'd be excited. Really, if I'm a Minnesota sports fan, I'd be excited. There's a lot going right for them right now. The Timberwolves are doing really well. Wild has a future, I guess. So Vikings just sending Justin Jefferson. So really, just overall, Minnesota sports fans would be very excited. And as I'm saying this as well, Jose Miranda just hit a home run for the Twins, seeing that notification here from MLB Home Run. So yeah, a lot to like here if you're a Twins fan, and a lot of good talent here. So yeah, that is our third segment here, talking about Royce Lewis and the season he is having for the Minnesota Twins. We'll be moving into our fourth segment, which is going to be talking about the pitcher power rankings from MLB and just my overall thoughts on them. Yeah, so this is what MLB did come out with a little while ago today, and I just want to give my general thoughts on it. They come out with these a lot, usually once per week, but I never get a chance to talk about them. But it was kind of a slow news day today, so I did want to give my thoughts on it. So yeah, talk about that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth segment, which is going to be talking about some pitcher power rankings. Now, OMB does this, I believe, every week, and again, I never really get a chance to talk about it, but I thought today was fitting as, it was kind of a slow news day, not really much interesting is going on with the world of baseball. The Rickwood game is tonight, which should be very, very fun, but I did just talk about it yesterday, kind of a connection with my memoriam segment on Willie Mays, rest in peace to the legend again. So, I felt kind of weird doing that again, so I did want to, I guess, talk about this, and I think it'll be interesting. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's get into what the pitcher power rankings are for MLB. Again, this is just for this year and what's going on right now, and yeah, I'll give my thoughts on it too. So first off, at number 1, we have from the Philadelphia Phillies left-handed pitcher Ranger Suarez. Now, people may think number 1 is really, really high for Suarez, but honestly, I think it's pretty fitting. I don't know if I'd have him at number 1. I think I'd maybe have some other people here at number 1. But at the same time, Suarez has done absolutely amazing this year for the Phillies. Been maybe the biggest reason why they have done so well in the NL East this year, are leading that division. Of course, you have other great pitchers in that rotation, like Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, of course. But Suarez has been absolutely breaking out, been an NL Cy Young favorite, and has a very good argument for being the best pitcher in baseball this year. So I'm really not mad at this pick. I mean, you're looking at his stats right now. His ERA is 1.75 in 15 starts. Absolutely insane. His K per 9 is 9.26. Walk per 9 is 1.85. His K to walk ratio is 5, which is great. His FIP is 2.68, so it's not even like he's going to regress a lot. His ERA minus is 43. His FIP minus is 67. His barrel percentage is down from last year. His hard hit percentage is down from last year. His expected ERA is 2.84. So, yeah, just an amazing pitcher of Ranger Suarez, a guy who I think deserves a spot at number 1, and kind of came out of nowhere to be a really fantastic pitcher for this Phillies team, and has done really, really great. So props to him, and has been an amazing pitcher this year for the Phillies. At number 2 here, we have from the Detroit Tigers, left-handed pitcher Tarik Skubal. Skubal was a guy who I was expecting a lot of big things out of at the start of this year. I had him picked as my Cy Young pick before the year. If you watched the show, then you would know that. And I have not wavered in that belief, and I've been proven right so far. He has had an absolutely incredible season with this Tigers team. They've kind of not lived up to expectations, I'd say, but still has been really, really fantastic, and deserves the spot at number 2, I'd say. I would probably argue for him at number 1, but him and Ranger are very close right now with how they're doing, so I wouldn't say that's necessarily some huge disagreement here. So I would say Skubal at number 2 is definitely fine. Skubal right now has a 2.50 ERA, 15 games started. His K per 9 is 10.5. His walk per 9 is 1.80. His K to walk ratio is 5.83, which is crazy. That's really, really great. His ERA minus 63, FIP minus 68. FIP at 2.73, which is also great. His expected ERA is 2.78, great. Hard hit percentage 31.2, which is down from last year. Barrel percentage a little bit up, but not significantly, so it's fine. And yeah, just overall is having a really fantastic season for the Tigers. Has become a true ace in this league, and I would say has become a top 5 pitcher in this league. Absolutely incredible, and I'd say number 2 spot right here is very much deserved and is very fair. Number 3 is where it gets interesting now. We have the rookie pitcher from the New York Yankees, right-handed pitcher Luis Gil. Now, I've talked about Gil on my show, how well he has done, how great of a pitcher he's been for the Yankees, but 3 does seem a little high. I understand how good he's been pitching, but for a rookie, I just don't know if he should be here. He's having a great, great season, but again, seems a little premature, seems a little high, and I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's, something that makes no sense at all, but I would maybe have some other guys below here above him, and, I think 3 is fine, but it is a little iffy, and, he is still a rookie, so right now he has a 2.03 ERA, 14 games started, 80 innings pitched, which is very good. Really has troubled throughout the minor leagues, and when he's been up with the Yankees has been durability. So the fact that he has been able to stay so durable when other pitchers in rotation have not been, it's really fantastic for the Yankees. You look at his ERA minus at 52. His FIP is insane at 3.06, so it's not even like, again, he's due for that much regression. So overall, Gil is a fantastic pitcher. Rookie of the year favorite right now, I'd say, but, I don't know if I think 3 might be a little high, but it's okay. Number 4 is a player I was just talking about in my second segment, which is right-handed pitcher from the Baltimore Orioles, Corbin Burnes. Burnes has been everything the Orioles have wanted and more since that acquisition from the Milwaukee Brewers. Has been the ace that they really have desired for this young team, and has just been, again, absolutely outstanding. Has been a phenomenal, phenomenal player, and it's just been really, really great. I mean, again, he's been every single thing that the Orioles have wanted. Maybe the bigger reason why the Orioles have done so well this year. And yeah, I think this 4 spot is definitely deserved. He's right up there in the AL Cy Young race with Skubal, with Gil, with Burnes, some other guys down here on this list. So yeah, I think this is a very fair pick. Corbin Burnes here at number 4. Could even argue he should be a little higher, but I think 4 is perfectly fine. Very, very reasonable. And yeah, I think this is a great pick. And man, has Burnes been outstanding since coming over to Baltimore. Number 5 here, we have left-handed pitcher from the Chicago Cubs, Shota Imanaga. Imanaga has been absolutely fantastic coming to the Cubs. I've talked about him a lot on my show because he just has been so great. One of the greatest rookie seasons ever, and it's just been such a force for this Cubs team. Such a great pitcher, and doing it all as a rookie has been outstanding. He's not your typical rookie, of course, as he was just from the NPB, being one of the best pitchers ever over there. So it's kind of a debate if they should be considered rookies or not, but I get both sides of it. But still, really has been absolutely fantastic for this Cubs team. Has regressed a little bit in these past few games, but at the same time, teams are going to figure him out eventually. That's just going to happen. And the ERA he had was like under 1 or something crazy. Was never really going to be sustainable, so I don't think it's anything that significant to worry about if you're a Cubs fan. Of course, you'd like to keep him at where he was before, but still is having an amazing season, still is becoming an amazing pitcher for this Cubs team, and yeah, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch in the future. Number 6 here, our second pitcher from the Philadelphia Phillies, this time a right-handed pitcher, Zach Wheeler. Again, I have no problem with this pick. I think Wheeler very much deserves to be on this list, always deserves to be on this list. Probably the second best pitcher in baseball before this year started. Him and Cole, I think, were in a league of their own. I'd add some other people in there now, but yeah, has been absolutely outstanding for the Phillies. His entire contract. Will be interesting to see what he does with that extension that he just got. But yeah, is an absolutely outstanding pitcher. One of the best pitchers in baseball. Second player from the Phillies here with Suarez is one of the big reasons why they have done as well as they have this year. So yeah, Wheeler at 6. I see no problem with that whatsoever. Has done an absolutely fantastic job, and yeah, definitely deserves this position. Number 7 here, I did not make this list, just going over it. Number 7 here from the Pittsburgh Pirates, right-handed pitcher Paul Skeens. Now, this is going to cause a lot of uproar. I think they're going to people who are saying it's too soon for Skeens. You know, he's only a rookie. He's never played in the big leagues before, and I would agree with that to a sense. I don't know if he should be at number 7 above the 3 guys he is above. But at the same time, I mean, it's just having such a historic start to his MLB career. Has been so good. Has been electric since he's come out to the mound every single time with this Pirates team. Has been such a force of nature for this team. It has been absolutely incredible. And yeah, I think here at number 7 for this Pirates team, you know, again, it might be a little high, but I think he should be in the number 10 with how well he's done at this point. One of the most hyped up pitching prospects in a long time in baseball, and he has fully lived up to every single expectation so far. Has done absolutely fantastic, and yeah, again, might be a little high for him, but he should be on this list, and I think that it's a very good decision to have him here, number 7 for Skeens. Number 8, from the Chicago White Sox, we have left-handed pitcher Garrett Crochet. How much longer will he be on the Chicago White Sox? I'm not sure, but that's a different discussion for a different day. Crochet was announced that this year, and it was announced that this year he would be a starting pitcher, and I, like a lot of people, was very skeptical. This is a guy who had always been a relief pitcher, even though he was drafted very high up in the draft. A lot of people considered him to be a relief pitcher in the future. I thought his windup was very obviously going to cause him a lot of injury risk in the future, and he did get Tommy John immediately after he came up. But at the same time, Crochet has still been pretty fantastic, and overall has just been an amazing player for the Chicago White Sox, and has been great. I mean, has really broken out, really done a lot of great stuff being a starting pitcher right now for this White Sox team. Been absolutely outstanding, and I think this number 8 spot is definitely deserved. I think it's very easy to argue for him here, and I think this is a great spot. I think he definitely deserves this, and I think it's a great decision to have him here. Number 9, they have from the Los Angeles Dodgers, right-handed pitcher Tyler Glasnow. Yeah, pretty much agree with this as well. Glasnow is an amazing pitcher, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Came over from Tampa, signed a huge extension with the Dodgers immediately after he came over. Has lived up to every single part of that, and the biggest thing has been durability. He was a great pitcher with Tampa, but was always hurt. And the fact is now he's come to the Dodgers, done a really great job, and has stayed durable. So props to him, and props to how well he has done for the Dodgers. And a lot of people have continued to be hurt for them, but Glasnow has stood strong, continued to be durable for them, and has been one of the biggest parts of this Dodgers team. So props to him, and how well he's done, and yeah, really good season he is having for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So yeah, and our final spot here from the Boston Red Sox right-handed pitcher. Number 10, Tanner Houck. Houck was a pitcher I thought really not much of going into the year. It was a guy who was a former big prospect for the Red Sox, kind of came out of nowhere, was doing very well. And, didn't do great last year. I didn't think much of him, but has done fantastic this year. I mean, has a 2.14 ERA in 15 starts, has been one of the biggest reasons why the Red Sox have done as well as they have, man. Yeah, I think the spot is more than fitting. Has been really just a great player for the Red Sox this year, and I think this 10 spot is deserved. If you told me he would have been 10 at the start of the year, I would have looked you crazy, but he's done a really fantastic job, and props to him. So, yeah, I think this is more than deserved here. So that is it for our fourth segment here, talking about some pitcher power rankings from MLB. Moving into our fifth segment, which is going to be talking about the NL wildcard situation and just going over everyone in contention for this wildcard position, who I think are the 3 teams that are going to make it, and yeah, just how everyone is put together. I mean, you see it on the screen. It's pretty insane. And if you don't see it on the screen, you know how crazy it is as a baseball fan. Like 6 or 7 teams fighting for one spot, all close together. So yeah, we'll be talking about it, and we'll see you after our fourth and final break. So thanks, and bye. And we're back here for the fourth and final segment here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, talking about the NL wildcard situation and just overall what the heck is going on with the wildcard right now. So let's get into it. So this year has been very, very strange. Obviously, is the second year of the 6 wildcard teams now happening. Before it was 5. I was never a big fan of the 6 wildcard seed. I always thought it was a little too much. But honestly, different conversation for a different day, probably in the off season when everything gets cold. But I don't really think that division should matter anymore. I think it should just be the 6 best teams in the league. But again, discussion for a different day. So let's get into it now. So right now, there are a lot of teams within a game or 2 of each other from the NL wildcard. Of course, you have the 4 top seeds right now, which are pretty untouched. Phillies have a large lead in their division. Dodgers have a large lead in their division. Brewers have a large lead in their division. And then the Braves have a large lead for the first wildcard spot. But after that, we have the Diamondbacks, the Cardinals, the Padres, the Pirates, the Nationals, the Cubs, the Giants, and the Mets, and the Reds, all significantly within close of each other for a wildcard spot. So that's 9 teams now. The Reds are the 9th team I said on this list, and they are 1.5 games out of this wildcard. So it's absolutely insane right now what is going on with this. And really what I want to do is talk about who I think has the edge here, each team, and just in the end, who I think will end up being the 2 wildcard spots that make this. Now, I think the Braves, Phillies, Brewers, and also the Dodgers are shoo-in for the playoffs right now. I don't think the Brewers are going to give up their lead. I don't think Dodgers or Phillies are going to give up their lead, and I think the Braves are a cut above these teams right now. So I think really it's just these 9 teams fighting for 2 spots. 7 teams going to be left out, and we're going to have to go with the other teams that make it. So let's start off with the Diamondbacks, who are actually, sorry about that loud noise. That was me kicking my computer cord by accident. It is the Arizona Diamondbacks as second right now in this wild card for the NL. So, the Diamondbacks have had a very, very interesting season. Of course, had some pitchers go down early in the season like Water Rodriguez, Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen just won on the injured list. Jordan Montgomery has not nearly been what the Diamondbacks expected. Eugenio Suarez, who he added to their lineup, has really not been great and just got benched for Blaze Alexander. So, Diamondbacks have had a very interesting season so far, but at the same time have a lot of talent and, have just been a really fantastic team. And overall have done a really, really great job this year, even without these injuries. I mean, they're one game under 500, but at the same time, they still have a lot of talent here. They still have a lot of great players on this team, and I think that overall they are just a fantastic team, and I think that having them here is not a surprise, and I really like them. Again, I had them as the third best team in the NL going into the year, so I'm going to continue with that. The Cardinals, 36-37, also an interesting team. Don't really have a great hitting core right now with some of their players underperforming. Their pitching staff is kind of and I'm not really that big high on them. I don't really think that they're a real threat, to be honest. I kind of think they're going to come back down to earth eventually. They have a ton of talent on the hitting core, but they're not performing. And the pitching guys who are performing, I think eventually are going to fall to the wayside and not perform, because I just don't believe in Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson in the year 2024. Sorry. After that, the Padres, who have made a big splash already this year, trading for Luis Arias from the Miami Marlins, of course, have a lot of stars in their team with Dylan Cease, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish. They also have Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ha-Sung Kim, and Jake Cronenworth, Xander Bogaerts, Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis Jr. Brofar's had a great season. So the Padres team has a lot of talent on there right now. And, the Arias addition has been very, very interesting to the team and has been really great. And it'll be interesting to see what does end up happening with this team and where they go from here. Pirates, very interesting. Have come out of nowhere and are now pretty high within this wild card situation. The Pirates, of course, have a really nice pitching staff with Jared Jones, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller heading in. Jared Jones and Skeens have been absolutely amazing coming out to the big leagues, but they lack a little bit with this hitting core. I mean, you have some good guys like Brian Reynolds, who's done well. Connor Joe's done well. G1 Bay's done well. But Brian Hayes, who'd like to hit better. You'd like McCutchen hit a little better, honestly, even for his age. So I think there are still a lot of flaws in this Pirates team, but the amount of talent they have, especially in that pitching core, is really, really incredible. And if I'm a Pirates fan, I'm excited about this team going into the future. Nationals, they are a very interesting team here. No one expected much from them, but they've gotten a lot of surprising performances from their team this year. Guys like Mitchell Parker, Jake Irvin have done really well, even with some of their guys in the injured list like a Josiah Gray. So have some very interesting young players there. Also with the offense, you're going to have some players coming up, like a James Wood, like a Dylan Cruz. They're going to come up eventually soon. So a lot of young talent with this Nationals team, and I think it may be a year early for them, but still have, again, a lot of talent for this team and a lot of possibility to end up in this wild card spot, even without, again, being a true contender. The Cubs are next, 36-39, one game out. The Cubs have a lot of talent again. The rotation has been fantastic this year. Shota Imanaga has been great. Justin Steele, of course, is great. Javier Saw has been very good. Ben Brown was good before he went in the injured list. Jameson Taillon's having a nice bounce-back season. Bullpen is kind of iffy. Adbert Alzolay and Hector Neris are solid, but that's kind of it. And also, the lineup is good, but it needs some more pieces, especially a catcher. I know you just did dump Yan Gomes and sign Tomas Nido, but I think you need a little bit more than that. Cody Bellinger's great. Seiya Suzuki's great. Nico Horner's great. Dansby Swanson's great. Ian Happ's great, but just overall, I don't think they have that true superstar in that lineup, and I think they need to get one. And there's still a lot of talent on this team. Wouldn't be surprised they end up with the second spot or the third spot, but pitching rotation, really, that's the reason why, but still need to work on that. The Giants, I don't know what to say about the Giants. They have a lot of talent, just it has not performed. I mean, some of their signings like Jorge Soler, Blake Snell have really not worked out so far. Jung Hoo Lee's out for the rest of the year. Matt Chapman hasn't been great with the bat, but have a lot of talent, and I would not be surprised they end up in one of the wild card spots, but are still a solid team. The Mets, I talked about them on either Tuesday or Monday. The run they had. Their winning streak of 7 straight games did just come to an end after that loss to the Rangers last night, but are now 7-1 and are actually facing the Cubs, who I just did talk about, so that should be a very important series for the NL wildcard, so definitely tune into that if you're more interested in all this kind of stuff, so should be interesting. But yeah, overall, the Mets have a lot of talent, just need to put it together and be consistent, and once they do that, I think they'll be good. But yeah, overall, are a team that has a lot of talent. I wouldn't be surprised to end up on one of these spots, but just needs to put it all together and be consistent. The Reds, a ton of talent, but so many injuries this year. Noelvi Marte is coming back soon, which is good, but I really think the big one is Matt McLain. I expected him to be a big part of this Reds team this year, and being out for most of this year was really a big blow. I think they're a great team. I just don't think this is their year for them, and I did have them winning the NL Central, but I would not say that is going to be the case right now. So, just going over all these NL teams, the main question is who is going to end up winning these 2 spots in the wild card. You, of course, are going to have the Phillies, Dodgers, and Brewers as the top 3, Braves as the number 4. Who's going to be 5 and 6? So, starting off with 5, I'm going to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think this team is fantastic. I'm keeping with my thought of them being the 3rd best team in the NL before the season. Again, I've had a lot of injuries, but Gallen should come back soon. Kelly should come back soon. You're going to have Eduardo Rodriguez come back soon. You also have Montgomery. He should be able to rebound. Their lineup is great. Ketel Marte has been fantastic. Corbin Carroll has been great. Corbin Carroll has not been great, but he has the potential to be great. You saw last year. I think once he really gets some time off from that shoulder injury, he should be good. Some other great offensive pieces in this lineup, like Gabriel Moreno. So I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks here at number 2. I think the reigning NL champions still have so much talent on this team, and I'd be letting them down, I'd say, if I did not pick them. I think they're just so good, and I'm going to have them here at number 2. And the 3rd wildcard spot, I was really between 3 teams, which was the Padres, the Mets, and the Cubs. I am going to end up going for this position. I'm going to go with the New York Mets. Now, you could say I'm biased as a Mets fan, but I think the Mets just have so much talent. I don't really think this streak is, a fake right now. I think that, of course, you're not going to go 7-1 for the rest of the year in 8-game increments, but there's a lot of talent on this team. The offense is finally showing up. I think there's a chip on their shoulder right now with them thinking people don't expect them to do well. Lindor has done absolutely fantastic since moving to the leadoff spot. JD Martinez has been a huge player for them. Alonso's been great. Alvarez has been fantastic. You're getting Senga back in the rotation. Scott is going to come back soon. I think Minaya and Severino will be a little better in the second half. Edwin Diaz has come back to life, so I would go with the Mets right now. I think the Padres and the Cubs are pretty close, and other teams as well are good, but I would go with those 3. But right now, I'd have it as the Diamondbacks the 5 seed, the Mets the 6 seed. Maybe I'm biased, but I don't think so. Just looking at it, I am looking at it objectively. So, yeah, that is it for the 5th and final segment of the show today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to the notification bell to not only get notified when I upload, but when all the other great content creators on this channel do. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. It's a beautiful day outside. Enjoy it. Have a great day. I'll see you Baseball Stars as tomorrow, and tune in tomorrow for my end of the week power rankings, like I always do. So yeah, going over that, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys, and enjoy your day today. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.